This is True Crime Tradies. Listener discretion is advised. Pussies.
Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime Tradies. We are your hosts, Chris, and with me, as always, JB. How you going, mate?
I'm going well, mate. I've been in the trenches this week learning all about this case that we're doing today, and I tell you, it's a doozy, so I am looking forward to get into it. But I just wanted to point out, because you asked me how I was, I'm feeling a bit vulnerable at the moment. I know.
Well, me too, actually, so I'm interested to see if it's about the same thing.
Did you get raped today as well? And I know we've been joking a fair bit on the pod about male rape in prison. And, you know, we shouldn't make light of it, but we do. But I went and filled up my ute today with diesel, and it cost me $221, and I walked out of there walking like a cowboy. So that's how I'm feeling at the moment. No lube, just went in there. They did what they needed to do to me, and I walked out feeling very sorry for myself. So
how much does it normally cost you to fill up?
Probably about $130.
Holy shit.
So chuck an extra $90 on top of what I usually spend. That will probably last me, I don't know, a week and a half. And you got yourself a BYD last year, and I've planted that seed with my wife, and I've just planted a new one to get a BYD for myself. So we'll see how that goes. It's getting to the point now where we're going to run out of diesel, and you're going to have to pick me up every day for work.
Yeah, all right, I don't mind that. We always have nice little chats. We listen to the same music.
We do.
Yeah.
Well, why are you feeling vulnerable today?
Well, our old mate Chuck Norris died.
Oh, that's true. That was sad, wasn't it?
Couldn't believe it. I thought he was immortal.
Yeah, well, it didn't stop people from going back to the old Chuck Norris jokes, did it?
Yeah. What was do you have a favourite one or something that you remember?
You put me on the spot. No, I don't. But I remember laughing at all of them back when they were popular in the early 2000s.
Yeah, they were.
You've clearly got one in the barrel.
Yeah. I liked Chuck Norris used to rock himself to sleep with the real rocks. And even his reflection won't look him in the eye.
I heard one. Yeah, I saw one yesterday where he was carrying his own coffin.
Oh, nice.
But no, that wasn't sad. That was really sad.
I thought he's immortal. He's going to live forever. It's kind of like David Attenborough. You know, it's those types of people that you hear that if they pass, no way.
Well, it's usually that bullshit story, isn't it? Like you quickly jump on Google to find out if it's true or not, and yeah, unfortunately, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to get into something as well, because we've been doing shout-outs for the fans, right? But we've been doing this for, 12, 13 weeks now, and we are yet to do a shout-out for ourselves. You know, I mentioned early, like episode 1, the first thing I mentioned was that we are carpenters. Now, we work for ourselves. We both have our own businesses. Yeah, you've got Kershaw Carpentry, I've got Cantala Carpentry, and we just amalgamate the two pretty much. We get our own work. But I wanted to give ourselves a shout out, because if you want the True Crime Tradies at your house doing work for you, make contact with us, because we are available and we will do anything. No, it's in all seriousness. We've got our Facebook pages. You can check out our work. We're good at what we do, and we'd love to do work for you.
Yeah, unless it's that person who left us a 1-star review on Spotify in the last couple of days. That was our first, I don't want to say negative. They didn't leave any comments, but just a 1-star. Everything else has been 5 stars. Everyone's been great.
Yeah, and look, and it's not your fault that you're a foreigner. I mean, people shouldn't be giving us 1-star reviews on Spotify just because of that. You know, it's not your fault that you're here taking our jobs. It's not your fault that you're here taking our women. It's just the fact of the matter. And look, I'm not even angry that you're not a citizen yet. It's just people that are petty, you know?
Kind of sounds like it was you that did the 1-star review, to be honest.
You got nothing to say. You're just really quiet.
I'm flabbergasted. I'll see you later. I'm going back to New Zealand. Well, all my cousins.
I mean, I can't go a week without giving you a hard time about being a Kiwi, can I? I'm sorry.
No, I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
Most of them are good jokes. Most.
Yeah, most of them. I think they're all good. Well, anyway, this week, let's get on to what we're doing this week. Actually, no, we've got to do our...
Yeah, we're going to do our Idiot of the Week.
Idiot of the Week story. Sorry, that's my bad. We've been waffling.
This week, we've got a story from 1995 from a guy named Klaus Schmidt in Berlin. And he went into a bank with a handgun. He had his disguise going on. He was already locked and loaded, ready to go.
Didn't even need lemon juice. He had the balaclava going on already.
Yeah,
well
that's
done.
right.
He
He
was
learned from your guy. Yeah. So he storms up to the counter and he's pointed the gun in the terrified bank teller's face and he's demanding the money. Everything's going according to plan so far for Klaus. But then the bank teller says to him, do you want this cash in a bag? And he responds with, "You're damn right this is a real gun." And just like you, the bank teller was a little bit confused with what was going on. And then she quickly realized that Klaus was in fact deaf. Might have been the fact that he said, "You're damn right it's a real gun." I was going to say, I hope it didn't offend any deaf listeners, but it's safe to say I did not. No.
And I have a story about that once you get through the rest of this.
Yeah. So the bank teller tripped the alarm to the police, and while the alarm was ringing out through the bank, Klaus continued on with his robbery, none the wiser.
I'm just picturing the bank teller with the arms in the air, but talking out the side of her mouth like, "Call security, put the alarm on." So continue.
The police arrived and they arrested Klaus right there in the bank. He did his time in jail or whatnot, but then he later attempted to sue the bank for discrimination.
You sure this wasn't in the current day? It wasn't 95? Like, I could see that happening nowadays, but not back then.
Yeah.
We weren't the snowflake society we live in now. Oh, that's a cracker.
Oh, good on you, Klaus.
I do love the name too, Klaus. It just reminds me of the fish from American Dad.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's great.
Were you going to tell the story when we were out with another podcast host?
I am, and we've mentioned our mate Zach on the pod before. He is also a podcaster. He has his own boxing podcast called The Unofficial Scorecard. So if you're into boxing, listen to that because he's really good at what he does. But that aside, we were having our Christmas drinks. There's about 6 or 7 of us at the table, and this woman walks past. She's handing us these business cards. And Zach pulls out a business card that he has for his podcast. He goes, "Well, since you're giving us business cards, I'll give you one of mine." It's at that moment he looks down at the business card that he thought was a business card, and it said, "I am deaf and I'm trying to raise money for the Deaf Society," or something along those lines. And here's poor Zach had given her a business card for his podcast that she won't be able to listen to. And he felt awful about it. That ruined his night. He went quiet.
He wanted the ground to swallow him up right there and then.
He did. And it made our night.
It did, yeah. He doesn't want to relive or rehear that story.
No, he doesn't.
Won't let it die.
It's a good test to see if he's still listening to the pod because we'll see how long it takes you to bring it up. You bastard. Had to bring that up. Anyway, mate, well, I think we've been waffling on enough. Let's get in today's story because I'm keen as fuck.
Yeah, so what do we have today?
Well, we have the documentary called Our Father, or as so eloquently you've been putting it all week, calling it The Cum Doctor. Now, this documentary is on Netflix, and it's a Blumhouse production. A producer by the name of Jason Blum, and he's famous for like films in the horror and thriller genre, but he also does documentaries like this, series like Worst Roommate Ever and Worst Ex Ever, and you can see those on Netflix as well, and I'm a big fan of his. So anyway, that aside, let's listen to the preview.
Growing up, I felt different. I was 35, and I take a DNA test.
When I opened up Ancestry, I had over 3,000 hits.
All of these random names were popping up, and it said close family.
We all matched the name Klein.
Dr. Klein was the best infertility doctor in Indianapolis.
Right then, I knew Klein was our biological father. So that's when strange things started happening.
I think it was some sick experiment for him.
Most of us have blonde hair, blue eyes. It was almost like this perfect Aryan clan. It's disgusting.
How the fuck did no one know? For decades.
I had to tell my husband, we're just now finding out that Julie is not yours.
I reached out to every news outlet, big and small.
This was a person of a position of power. He's known in our community as a philanthropist. He's an elder of the church.
And the Attorney General's office.
I don't deny that it was a sexual violation, but legally, there's just no crime that touches this particular act.
The majority of us live in a 25-mile radius of each other. I walk around and I can be related to anyone. I dread every new match that comes, but they just keep coming.
You're praying, please don't let it be somebody I know. Please don't let it be somebody I dated.
He wants me to keep quiet, but I will never back down. I will fight to expose all of your secrets.
He's hiding something more sinister.
So the start of the documentary is classic Jason Blum. It's eerie, and it goes from being really ominous to just a guy jacking off in an office.
Oh, my God. This has to be one of the worst openings to a documentary I have ever seen. An old man jerking off with his tie is thrown over his shoulder because he doesn't want to get jizz on it.
I'm here for it. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, you're here for it? Well, I've got a limit of how many old men I like to see jerking off in a day, and it is 0.
Oh, okay. Well, sucks for you. Well, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it set the scene right from the start, and it was like lover, stalker, killer. It's like, boy, that escalated quickly. So straight off, we meet a woman named Jacoba. And they really portray her as a druggie right from the outset, don't they? She's brushing her teeth, and there are like 9 pill bottles sitting on the edge of the sink. Did you notice that?
I did, yeah. There is a lot. Yeah,
There's a lot there. And she's just guzzling them down. Oh, by the way, can I ask, in America, why in the movies when they take a pill, they never drink water with it? They always just like swallow it without any drink. Have you noticed that in movies and TV shows?
No, is that just a TV show thing? Like
it
how
feels like
no
that.
One says goodbye on the phone as well?
Yeah. It seems to be a thing, and it bothers me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting sidetracked again. Well, so in the documentary, they refer to her as sibling 1.
Yeah, when they showed this, I thought, okay, my guess is there's going to be 47 siblings.
Mm.
So that was my guesstimation for the final figure of this documentary.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So she explains that when she was growing up, she felt different. She's got blonde hair, blue eyes, and everyone else in her family seemed to have olive skin and dark eyes. And she thinks she's adopted, and she quizzes her mother about it.
I kept reassuring my parents, and I'm like, it's fine if I am. You can tell me. It'll be okay. Finally, my mom told me the truth. So I've known since the age of 10 that I was from donor sperm.
We hear from Jacoba's mum, Debbie, and she explains she really wanted a child so bad. She's like 21 years old, but it turned out her husband was sterile. And in 1979, she hears about this doctor, Donald Klein, and apparently he is the go-to doctor for artificial insemination. And it's funny because she explains it so simple. She's like, I went in, I had the procedure done, got home, and I was pregnant. Simples.
Easy as that.
Easy.
I went in, they did the procedure, and I went home, and I was pregnant. She's my everything. I love that child more than life itself.
Jacoba always wanted a sibling. There was always something she felt like she missed in her life. And when she was 18, she looked into it because when they use a donor, they use that same donor multiple times. So she figures that because she was number 1, there must be multiple siblings out there and she wants to meet them. She ends up contacting Dr. Klein and she wants to know if the doctor has any records of the actual donor.
I wanted to know if he had a donor number or my mom's medical records to where I could have some kind of identifying information. He was very straightforward, matter of fact, no empathy, but I remember asking him, telling him I wanted to find half siblings, and he said that I can't ever know that information. My mother's records had been destroyed. He wished me good luck. And that was it. I just went on with life and, married, raised my children, and hoped that someday maybe I would find a sibling or 2.
So I looked into the guidelines for today in America just to see how many donor families you're able to create. And in America, it recommends that the 25 births in an 800,000 person populated area. But this is only a guideline in America. It's not a law. It's just self-regulated from the clinics over there. But within Australia, it's a lot more strict. So in Australia, it depends on which state you're in. Some states, it's a maximum of 5 donor families. Yeah. Other states, it's up to 10 donor families. So if you have a family with your ex-wife and you've currently got a family now with multiple children each, now you're only allowed to create 8 more donor families, or up to 8 more donor families. So, and this is a law within Australia.
That seems a lot. Does it not?
That's what I thought. I thought it was individual. So like 10 children. But no, it's families. So even that I thought it's a lot. Because within a family, you could have, it's not uncommon to see 4 or 5 children.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know much about the subject, but I just feel like there's a danger to it. Someone may potentially get together that not knowing they're from the same donor.
Yeah, it was a lot higher than I thought. And to see that it's, after this case and how crazy it is, that it's still not a law in America, that was mind-baffling.
It is, and we'll get more to that as we go through. But, this is where we get to learn more about Dr. Klein, and we meet Jan Shaw and Robert Culver. Jan was a nurse for Dr. Klein between 1981 and 1994, and she says that he was the best fertility doctor in Minneapolis at the time. Did I say Minneapolis right? I find that really hard. And Dr. Culver, he was Dr. Klein's former business partner between 1987 and 91, and he explains that Dr. Klein holds a very special place in his heart because he felt if it wasn't for him, his career wouldn't be where it is today. A lot of people just seem to love this doctor. Robert goes on to explain that sperm insemination wasn't like it is today. Back then, they used fresh sperm from donors. And the way it works today is you can just go to a website and you can just pick out from, like 300 guys on a website. It's a bit like Grindr. Interestingly, a part of Jan's job description was picking up the fresh sperm from the donors. And she explains that she needed to keep the donations warm. And by doing that, she'd put the sperm samples inside her bra. So she's basically just walking around with a pearl necklace.
In a test tube or in a little cup.
She's not spreading it on her chest.
Yeah, she's not scraping it off her skin while she gets over to the clinic.
This is where my immature
mind went. But even the fact that she's transporting it in her bra to keep it warm. Fuck, it was so loosey-goosey with the rules back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the 70s, man.
It was a great field. It was really interesting. We were putting tubes back together so women could get pregnant. And he had a terrific success rate at that.
We do laser surgery on tubes, and that was a new thing that Don did that other doctors didn't do. For these couples, you have to have them really think through this, talk through this, pray about it. Really feel like you've thought through this whole thing, because once you do that donor insemination and they get pregnant, that's their baby forever.
So we meet 2 women, Diana and Liz, and both these women were patients of Dr. Klein, and they both share very similar stories. Obviously, people are seeing the doctor due to fertility issues, some relating to the female and some relating to their husbands. Liz's husband was infertile, and Dr. Klein was the only doctor doing live sperm donor insemination, and he would, like I said, he was the best of the best. Diana, on the other hand, she's the one that had the infertility issues, so she would actually BYO her husband's sperm to the clinic, but she had to get there within an hour. That's a lot of pressure for him, isn't it? Quick, she's in the cup. Got to get there. It's traffic. That would be weird carrying that around too, wouldn't it?
Very odd.
If you go to the doctors and they want even just a urine sample for you, and they give you that little bag with a little bottle, I feel really sheepish walking through with the waiting patients, like almost hiding it. And then when you go to the toilet and you come out with this cup, it's like everyone's just looking at you knowing what you just did in there. And I've never had to do anything other than a urine test. And I'm going to go completely off track here. Tell a story about my dad.
Oh, God.
Hi, Dad. He had to do a poo sample. And, obviously you take the little jar home with you and you do it at home and then you got to go back with it. So he decides on the way to the doctor's, he's going to drop into the chemist. He gets back into his car and looks at the seat, and the sample is missing. So he's like, someone has broken into the car and taken his shit sample. So he goes to the other side. He's looking under the seat. He can't find this sample anywhere, right? He gets back into his car and then realizes it's not his car. He's sitting in the wrong car. So it just turned out that the car parked right next to his car was the same make and model. He got him into it with his key and didn't realize.
Oh my God. Well, a family member of mine, he needed to produce a poo sample, but he jumped the gun a little bit and didn't realize that you have to wait for the little containers with a scoop thing in it.
Oh, right.
So he just heard, okay, we're going to require a poo sample. So he goes to the doctor's clinic with an empty ice cream container that he'd poo, and he shows the nurse, what the hell is this? It was a full log.
He hadn't even taken just a little bit of it.
No.
He shit in the container.
Yeah.
Bits of toilet paper in it.
Because I thought it was smart because I set the whole container in the toilet, then I didn't have to scoop, it was just straight in. He was patting himself on the back.
It'd be hard not to piss in it, though, wouldn't it? It'd be like a bowl of soup.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's feral. Anyway, we'll go back to the story here.
Sidetracked again.
Oh, my God. So anyway, this was a relatively simple procedure. So basically the woman would go sit in the chair, feet up on the stirrups. The doctor would come and insert the sperm with what looks like a turkey baster or something. And they would have to stay in that seater for approximately 20 minutes. And look, these women are so hopeful.
By that point, it had been 2.5 years of having my period when I wanted to really conceive, taking my temperature, and for every month and every day. So it was the first time I felt it was hopeful. He'd walk me back to the exam room. I'm laying down, and my knees are up in the air. He said, oh, okay, I'm going to put this specimen in you. So I wait on the table for about 20 minutes. I was thinking, actually positive thoughts. I was thinking, well, I might be able to have a child.
Watching this lady, I know it's a reenactment, but watching the lady on the table with the I don't know, we'll say turkey baster type of thing, you can just tell how uncomfortable she is and how uncomfortable women must be doing these types of things. They go through so much. I mean, men, we go through basically nothing. Like a finger up your bum once you turn 50 to make sure the donut hasn't turned into a bagel, and that's about it.
We get man flu as well. Don't forget about man flu. This is like the worst. Yeah, you have children, but we have man flu, okay? I'm going to dig myself a hole, so I'm going to shut up. So in 2014, Jacoba is now 35. And at the time, a company called 23andMe was advertising hard for their services. If you haven't heard of 23andMe, it's a company that provides a detailed breakdown of your ancestral origins across more than 4,500 global regions. You get a list of your potential DNA relatives, health predispositions based on your genetic data. Okay, so Jacoba is super excited, and she provides a sample of her DNA to be tested. She figures that she must have a sibling out there somewhere, and her results come in, and the results are surprising, to say the least.
I remember that day vividly. It came back that I was related to 7 siblings. It was actually immediate excitement with concern. Finding out that I had siblings was amazing, but there's 8 of us. What's going on here?
So the concern with using the same donor multiple times, as you mentioned before, is that if you've got a small concentrated area, you might end up having a lot of half siblings who potentially are meeting up in the future, then potentially starting relationships. That's crazy. We're not in Tasmania, guys. Calm down. Yeah. So Jacoba contacts the half siblings and they start investigating. They're doing a family tree, and she actually joked at the time that their father could be the doctor. She had no idea how right she was.
Oh, imagine how crazy it would be.
Oh, my God.
Next minute.
Yeah, exactly. So Jacoba and the other half siblings find out that they have a cousin named Sylvia. So they make contact with her to find out if they can get any information for their family tree. They're really building it up. She reveals a name of Swindon, which turns out to be the Dr. Klein's mother's maiden name. And that's when the penny drops for Jacoby, and she is sick to her stomach.
I was in shock. There were so many emotions, so many questions. He lied about a donor being used. Why did he do it? How long did he do it? And how many siblings do we have?
She's really upset and she files a complaint with the Attorney General's office for Indiana. She gets a response, but it's just a generic letter, and they said there would be an open investigation and someone will get back to her, but she never gets a call back. Nobody is returning her calls. That leads to Jacoba looking into contacting news reporters, and nobody's interested in pick up the story. Even though it is a crazy story, she only gets one sort of bite, and that is from a woman named Angela Genotti, and she's from Fox 59, and that is in February of 2015. Angela can't believe what she's reading, and she can't believe Jacoba hasn't had any assistance at all from the government regarding any of this. It's insane.
The message was in depth, saying that she believed a doctor in Indianapolis had inseminated multiple women with his own sperm. It was shocking, but it was also backed by proof. Before Jacoba came to me, she had reached out to Attorney General of our state, the Attorney General of the United States. She had reached out to national news organizations, and she had gotten no response. I thought, why is no one listening or at least finding the truth? I walked into our news director's office and I said, you guys are not going to believe this.
Angela makes contact with Dr. Klein and she requests from him to get his DNA so he can help these people find out, where they come from and all that. And I guess it's just eliminate him as well of being the father because they've got questions. And of course, he refuses. She airs the first story regarding this, but she's not allowed to use his name. And that's just really frustrating for her.
Sisters born here in Indiana uncover a family secret. Their dad is not their biological father. They are donor children, the product of an anonymous man who donated his sperm.
So Jacoba says that the only way to prove that Dr. Klein is their biological father is they need his DNA, and that's becoming really difficult. He's not playing ball at all, and one of Jacoba's half-siblings actually gets in contact with Dr. Klein's children and grandchildren, anyone that was over the age of 18, to see if anyone else in the family had donated sperm before. And they get lucky because about a week or two afterwards, Dr. Klein's son, Doug, makes contact. Jacoba meets with Doug and his sister Donna. She's really nervous about meeting Dr. Klein's children too because these are really heavy accusations and she's worried about how they might react.
Yeah, she doesn't know these people. I mean, they could be very aggressive about it or confrontational, trying to protect their dad.
Yeah, that's my dad, but they reveal some really interesting information.
They said they had talked to their dad, and he did admit that he was our biological father. But Doug said that the only time that Klein used his sperm was when he didn't have access to a donor. And as far as siblings go, there was absolutely no more than 10.
So he's saying, like a maximum of 10, children maybe. But
so it's gone from 3 to 10 now, hasn't it?
Yeah. But now in the documentary, we meet sibling number 14, Julie Harmon. Now, she had seen Jacoba on the news report, and this is really weird because her husband thought that she looked strikingly similar to her. Julia is actually Diana's daughter. We met Diana earlier. She's the one that had used her own husband's sperm, but she believed at the time that Dr. Klein had been using that sperm that she was providing. So she didn't think that this really applied to Julie.
Yeah, so he just chucked out the husband's sperm and decided to use his own.
Yeah, I know, that's it. And could you imagine playing that waiting game for the results to come? It would be brutal for Julie. Like, she feels like her identity is not what she thought it was. And Diana's trying to figure out how she's going to be able to tell her husband that their daughter is not actually his biological daughter.
It's
which
so
would
brutal for everybody
devastating.
and the husband as well.
And you
Really
don't-
feel for the husband and the father-child relationship here.
Yeah, exactly. And like we're fathers, so you can imagine if you found out you weren't the father of one or both of your daughters, it would be gutting. And they're still yours. It'd just be something, I don't know, inside you would just kill you.
Yeah, I feel like something was taken from you.
Yeah, exactly.
My husband started crying, and he said that, and I'll never forget these words. He says, "He's taken everything away from me." And he did.
It's hard. I mean, what did he do with my dad's sperm? He just threw it away like it was nothing? I mean, it's wrong.
Meanwhile, Doug is assuring Jacoba that he's there to help her in any way he can. And she requests, look, if that's the case, I want to meet with your dad. So they set up a meeting with Dr. Klein with 5 other half-siblings. They want answers.
It was almost like the moment that his feet hit the floor, you could hear his footsteps and you could hear his cane. He was not showing emotion. And on his hip, I could see the outline of a gun. I think that it was partially to intimidate us.
Why is this old bloke bringing a gun to the meeting?
Oh, no, what a fuckwit.
Yeah,
just
like
purely to try and intimidate these people.
Yeah, and then he starts getting details. He's writing down like their name, their age, their occupation. And Jacoba feels like he was ranking them.
Yeah.
Like he's getting off on, this is what I produced. You know, it's for his own ego. I don't know. But one of the things I really wanted to talk to Dr. Klein about was his medical history, his family medical history, because a few of them had some autoimmune disorders, but he assures them like there was nothing to worry about. He had a clean bill of health.
It's definitely something to be concerned about. I mean, even for myself as well, my dad, he's adopted. So I'm not too sure what the medical history is like on that side. So that's always kind of in your back of your mind as well.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah,
like you go to the doctor, and if you've got some sort of issue, they want to know, okay, has your mum had this or has your dad had this? Like, you want to know that family history. But like you said, that's just completely unknown. But they also want to ask him why he did this. And he justifies it in his own mind that these women were desperate and he only did it just to help them out.
Yeah, which doesn't explain why he threw the husband's sperm out and then used his own. Well, that doesn't explain that at all.
Exactly right. And I just think he just gets to jerk off in his office all day, and that's what part of the motivation was.
Yeah, at this point, I have no idea what his motivation or his reasoning is behind this.
And I think that answer today is still unknown, really. But he assures them that there'll be, now the number's gone up here, he assures them that there'll be no more than 15 siblings. Here we meet Matt White, sibling number 17. He is Liz's son, who we met earlier as well, and he's really cut up about the whole situation.
It's just too fucked up. I just felt bad for my mother. I mean, here she was, you know, a young woman just wanting to have a family, like anyone else. It's just a sick individual that puts themselves in that position to be able to do that.
Liz explains the procedure of how things would go down when she went to the doctor's clinic. The thought for her of this doctor going into another office and jerking off and then coming back into the room with this syringe and inserting that sperm into her, that just, I mean, absolutely disgusts her. I mean, as it would anyone.
The fact that he was still in an endocrine high from having the ejaculation has no place in a medical setting. When Matt's DNA test came back, my first words were, I was raped 15 times and didn't even know it.
Matt finds it very hard to believe that Dr. Klein worked in this office doing this shit for 15 years and no one suspected a thing. He calls bullshit on that. But Robert explains that the nurse inside the room would have no idea whether or not it was Dr. Klein's sperm or the donor's sperm. I mean, which makes sense if you don't suspect anything. Like, how would you know?
Yeah, and they say that nothing else happens on that floor except for the IVF.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of traffic going back and forth. It's pretty much just the nurse, the doctor, and the patient, and that's it.
Yeah, And she explains when she comes in, he's the first person she sees. Yeah, why would they suspect anything? You just go to the doctors, do anything. The next few minutes of the documentary explains how much of a great doctor he was, but it's also an opportunity for the filmmakers to showcase how much of a douchebag he was as well. And you see that he has acquaintances, but no one actually likes him.
He was always a doctor. He was not going to sit there and chat with you. It was all pretty much doctor-person relationship. Or a stern father figure, if you can relate better to that.
We were socially friendly. I would say arrogant fits him for some reason. I mean, I don't know exactly why I felt that way.
He was okay. I mean, he obviously was a bright guy. He thought he did know a lot.
He always was confident. He always was self-assured. I never saw him doubt that what he was doing wasn't right.
If you knew something and he knew something, he knew more. That was his attitude.
So when we met Sharon and Mark in this little interview part here, I thought it was a bit of a Weekend at Bernie's situation with Mark. He wasn't moving at all. I swear to God, I think I saw a fly land on his eyeball at some stage until it licked his lips. I was like, is he dead?
A fly went in his mouth and then came out of his nose. Like, I thought the same thing because in my notes here, I think I referred to him as a stunned mullet. And I just think, he doesn't talk much, and he does talk, so yeah, okay, he's alive, that's cool. Yeah,
I was holding my breath until he spoke. Yeah, oh, God. Oh, thank God you're okay, Mark.
I thought he must have had a stroke or something, and he's just like a head on a stick. It sounds so mean, but you would know what we mean when you watch it.
Yeah. Oh. So Sharon, she's saying about Dr. Klein and saying how arrogant he is, and if you knew something, he always knew more.
Yeah.
And he would belittle other people and their thoughts, even though like his nurse had a PhD in neurobiology, he'd still belittle them like he was the smartest man in the world. And even his partner, I can't remember, what was his partner's name? Dr.
Robert.
Yeah. He said if you crossed him, that's it. That'd be the end of you.
You're done. And that's what I'm saying. The filmmakers do a good job here, not talking him up too much. They really want to, bring him down a few pegs to show you just how much of a piece of shit he is.
Oh, definitely. Especially turning up to a meeting with these children that you have. I mean, I don't like saying his children, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Turns up to meet them for the first time with a gun.
Yeah.
It just really shows what type of person he is.
And he's a religious man too. So surprising.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't spoken about any of the, fathers that you had growing up.
Father Foxy,
Father Hands,
Father
I shouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
Angela's been on the phone to Dr. Klein a few times now, and she's really putting the pressure on him. And he's saying he's protected by HIPAA, and that's HIPAA, and that is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, and it's a U.S. federal law establishing national standards to protect sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without consent. Dr. Klein is going to a full tailspin now, though, because he's getting these calls from Angela, and he makes a call to Jacoba, and she has the foresight to record the conversation.
I loved it. I think I said out loud, fucking good on you, Jacoba.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Jacoba?
Yes.
This is Dr. Klein. Do you have time to talk with me just a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting a real problem with the television station, 59.
Mm-hmm.
They're demanding that I meet with them. I can't do that. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to you all. They're trying to make they're trying to improve their ratings. And my wife and I, after 57 years of marriage, if this comes out, our marriage will be over. Can you help?
I mean, no disrespect, but I feel like what you're telling me is to keep my life a secret. That I am not allowed to know who I am when I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, yes, but, at the time, I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong either.
But I feel like I'm being blamed for this, like it's my fault. I don't understand.
It's your fault because I don't care who you tell. It's just putting it on television for the entire world to see.
Well, I cannot, like I said, I can't control her. I can't stop that. I can't.
Well, because you can stop talking to her and say, I just don't want to share anymore. I'm just telling you what's going to happen, and I'm going to be hurt badly.
Well, that's what's happened to everybody so far. And, that's because of the actions.
That's exactly what you want.
At the time, I didn't believe I was doing anything wrong. Do you actually think he believes that?
No, he's full of shit. He's just trying to pretend he's the victim, and he's just trying to guilt Jacoba into dropping this whole thing.
Yeah. And then he has the balls to blame Jacoba, saying that this is her fault. I mean, You deserve to lose your marriage. You deserve to have your reputation destroyed. You cannot do this to people and think that it's okay.
Yeah, that's right. None of these women asked for this. It was all you're doing. You made your bed, now lie in it.
Exactly, and this fueled the fire for Jacoba even more. She follows up on her complaint with the Attorney General, but still no one's returning her calls. So she's like, fuck this. She decides to investigate herself. She learns everything that she needs to know about Dr. Klein. She wants to take him down.
I started researching everything about him, from papers written to articles to conferences he had attended, to blog. I had just papers everywhere to prove that I wasn't some crazy maniac. He wanted me to keep quiet. And he wanted me to keep quiet because he knew that there were more siblings.
So introducing our next sibling, Heather Wook. She is sibling number 22. Her husband had given her a DNA test as a gift. And she had a message from Jacoba not shortly after saying, hey, I think we're related. And an identity crisis follows for her, just like it had for so many of the other half-siblings. Jacoba feels this massive burden, but she also feels it's her duty to contact any new sibling that comes up online. She understands that she's destroying their lives in a sense, but it's so important that they need to know this information.
Every time that a new sibling pops up, I know that I'm going to call them, and I know that I'm going to ruin their life.
It's hard because we know what we went through, and we're making someone else go through this exact same thing.
And another incoming sibling, Lisa Stidham. She is sibling number 33. So we're really getting up there with the numbers and getting close to your guess of 47 as well.
Yep.
And we're not even halfway through. She had also had a DNA test done just like the others, and the results were surprising to her. A lot of the names that came up, she said there were close family. She didn't quite understand what close family meant at the time. Julie is online and she sees that another sibling has popped up, and it's someone she knows. Julie says that her husband had taught Lisa's daughter on the softball team, and their daughters had played basketball together. Julie said to Lisa, hey, do you know about the Dr. Klein story?
Thought Julie was kind of crazy. I called my mom. I said, hey Mom, did you and Dad ever have any issues conceiving me? She said, well, I didn't, but yeah, your dad did. She said he actually had a low sperm count and his doctor recommended us to a specialist. And I said, Mom, was a specialist in Indianapolis? And she said, yeah, why? And I said, was it Dr. Donald Klein? And she said, yes. She said, I went and had the procedure done twice, but both times your father was there with me and provided a sample. And so at that point, I realized my mom and dad had no idea. They thought all along that I was my dad's.
That's so crazy, isn't it? Like, you know these people, and then you find out, oh, we're actually half siblings. No one knows anything. And as you said before, it's getting so dangerously close to the possibility of incest.
Yeah.
As you said, God knows if you hook up with someone, then you find out they're your half-sibling.
Yeah, and they go into that as well. I know this story is really fucked up, but it just feels like even more fucked up that these people are going in with their husband's own sperm sample, and he's still replacing that sperm sample with his own, like you mentioned before. And look, these poor parents are having to have these conversations with their children saying, you need to be careful who you date at school, just in case you might be related to them. And every time a new sibling pops up on the computer, they're also thinking, please don't let it be someone I know. Please don't let it be someone I've dated or I've had sex with in the past. You know, the majority of these siblings live within a 25-mile radius of each other. So the likelihood of them knowing each other or have even dated or potentially marrying each other is pretty high. And they're only interviewing a small, minority of these siblings. So who knows? They don't go into it in the documentary, but who knows? This might have happened.
Yeah, that's right.
So cue the suspenseful music.
I walk around and I could be related to anyone. I mean, it's just common for me to pass people on the street, at work, wherever I may be, and I mean, I'll look at them and think, oh, the way you stand, the way you look, you could be related to me.
Everyone that you interact with appears to have some sort of connection to Klein. My dentist across the street was a patient of his. My next door neighbor was the nurse to one of my half-siblings, and then there was this connection, there was that connection. Oh, my mom saw them at the nail salon. I think without a doubt, there are probably people that I've met that are my half-sibling, and I just don't even know it. They don't even know it.
Who knows how many siblings we have?
So this part where you see Matt staring at some dude in the park, wondering if, this guy could possibly be a sibling of mine. And this guy's staring intently back at him as well. And I'm like, this is getting really awkward. I was waiting for the other guy to go, listen, are we going to fuck or what?
Yeah. It did look that way, didn't it?
It was such an awkward part of the documentary.
Imagine having that, though, where anywhere you went, looking at people going, oh, God, they could be my half-sibling. And I got a story of when I was a teenager. My wife, she was my girlfriend back then, would go through our local mall. And there was this woman that worked at the mall. And she would always say to me, hey, this woman looks exactly like your family. She belongs in your family. And we used to always laugh about it. We were about 15 years old at the time. About 3 years later, I find out I've got this cousin I didn't know about. We're quite excited to meet her, and my wife and I were at the movies, and we see this woman that we always see at the mall, and Renee goes, I wonder if it's her, and I'm not laughing, and we knew her name was Denise. So we go, the test, hey, Denise. She turns around and looks at us, and it was her.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. This long-lost cousin that I had was the same girl that my wife was pointing out, going, she belongs in your family.
Really?
Yeah.
So was it like a gut feeling that she had, or was it just the looks?
Purely the look. She looked just like my sister, and my sister looks a lot like me as well. Lucky her. So that was just what my wife thought, just purely based on looks. We never spoke to her before.
Oh,
so
crazy.
Just a bizarre occurrence. And she turned out to be a psycho as well. So we ditched her pretty quickly. But moving on, I hope she doesn't listen to the pod. Yeah. So the news reporter, Angela, she contacts Dr. Klein once again. And she tells him, look, we're running with the story no matter what you think. And we're going to use your name whether you like it or not. And it's best for you to get ahead of the story. Tell your side of it. So he decides to meet with Angela, but he does not want to be recorded. He does not want to be quoted. And it appears that he really just wants to meet her to intimidate her.
Yeah, purely just to threaten her, yeah. And she's so nervous, she wants to turn up with the security as well.
Yeah, I think that the Fox News studio were like, hey, take these big dudes with you. But look, she wants to meet him in a public place because she feels that's going to be safe.
We knew that Dr. Klein did not want to, quote, be outed, and Jacoba told me that he carried a gun. We felt that he was desperate.
She is demanding that I meet with them. they're going to force me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do that.
I was very nervous. And when he came in, it was within minutes, he's asking me if guns are allowed in the restaurant. And I'm thinking, what a weird thing to say to me. And then I'm looking down and it looks like he has a gun underneath his sweater. There's something bulging on the side. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be crazy, but is there any chance that he could pull out a gun and shoot me? I honestly thought that.
By the way, did they get this guy's body double or something? Because this guy that they used for the documentary looks exactly like Dr. Klein.
Yeah,
and guys,
such a good job.
Picture Santa Claus without the suit and with a smaller beard. But unlike Santa, this guy comes more than once a year, if you know what I mean.
God. All right, that'll do me. See you next week, everybody.
I'm here every week. Try the veal. Now, Dr. Klein, he's getting super desperate here.
You fucking idiot.
I liked it. Dr. Klein's getting really desperate here. He's not only intimidating Angela, he's intimidating a lot of them. And one morning, Jacoba comes out to leave her house and she sees that all the lug nuts on her vehicle being removed. They're just sitting on the ground. And she obviously sees that as a direct threat from Dr. Klein. Meanwhile, Julia's computer was hacked. A file that she had on her Google Drive was deleted. Any email regarding Dr. Klein was deleted. But to be honest, I have a hard time thinking that this old man had the ability to hack into people's computers and delete their files.
Yeah, well, I thought the same thing, but it's such a coincidence that it was only those files that were deleted. Like, I mean, he possibly could have hired someone.
Yeah, that's
true.
But
there's no way he would have done it by himself.
No
and
chance.
The lug nuts as well. Like, this guy, he could barely walk.
Yeah, he's got a cane. I can't imagine him kicking, like the, what do you call it? The wrench, whatever it's called.
The tire iron?
The tire iron, that's the one.
Yeah, she would have heard him for sure making old man noises just bending down to the tire.
I can't get off my chair without making old man noises. This guy's like 30 years older than me. So, look, I thought that it may be a coincidence, but some of the other siblings are also being targeted and intimidated in some ways, like even phone calls. But look, he can threaten and intimidate as much as he likes. Jacoba is feisty. She's not backing down.
I'm not scared of you. You can threaten me, but I will never back down. I am going to expose you, and I'm going to expose all of your secrets.
So people knew that Dr. Klein was extremely religious, but they're trying to understand where the motivation came from to do all this. And they really thought it came back from something that happened to him in 1963. He'd run over a little girl while she was on her bike, and she unfortunately died. And they were saying that it was from this point on that he changed his life. Like, it really traumatized him, and he gave his life to God from that point. And they thought that maybe what he was doing was like an amends to make up for what he had done.
It's pretty extreme, though.
It is.
That's a bit of a leap, I reckon.
It is a leap. I think they're just grasping at straws because they can't understand the motive.
Yeah.
Just like we can't. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting up there. We meet sibling number 48. You are way off. Jason Hyatt. Now, he's got similar stories to the other siblings, growing up, something off, something different, and he gets an ancestry kit, and he was told by a coworker that when he had done his, he'd gotten back approximately 11 to 15 hits or something, so that's what he should expect. And he gets his results back, and he gets over 3,000 hits.
And then immediately after that, Jacoba called me. I'm your sister. And she told me the truth. I don't even know how to tell you the emotions that came over my head. It took me to an incredibly dark place. Why? Why feel the need to do this? Is it to further your career? Is this to be the best of the best? Is this to create life? Is this some sort of sexual thing? Like, I don't know. I feel like he's hiding something more sinister.
So Klein's really involved with the church, and he's even giving people baptisms in his backyard pool as well.
Yeah.
What was it? What, with the Lord's holy chlorine? It's like, what, doesn't it have to be some special shit? I
have no
understand
idea how it works. Yeah.
And then they go into the quiverful theory, and this is a bit of a practice within the church, and it kind of looks like a bit of the Handmaid's Tale type of situation.
It's very culty.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And back when a lot of these siblings were conceived, the quiverful movement was trying to increase the white race because they were in fear that all the other races were trying to infiltrate and the white race would eventually disappear. And their goal was to try and put as many children on the earth as possible. And I think they used to call them arrows or arrowheads. So referring to the children, to try and shoot them out into the world.
Sounds like Scientology a little bit, doesn't it? It's a bit odd.
It does, yeah, that's right. And if you see the image as well from the documentary with the red robes that these ladies are walking around, I immediately said, oh, that must be where the Handmaid's Tale got all that stuff from.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
So this, because he was involved in the church heavily and connected to this as well. I mean, there's no proof that he was or anything like that, but there are ties. It kind of makes a little bit more sense to me than that he was just a psycho or a nut job.
Yeah, he's as part of this cult. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe I'm just looking for reasoning for closure mentally. I'm not.
I think that's what Jacoba and the other siblings are doing as well. Like, I think there's a scene with them all around the table talking about it because they're just like, why? They just want to know why.
And the majority of them, they have blonde hair and blue eyes. They said it's almost like a bit of an Aryan nation that he's creating.
Yeah, yeah. As we were saying, like, he's extremely religious, but he believes that nothing ever happens without God allowing it. And he mentions a scripture, and it's his favorite scripture, and it's Jeremiah 1:5, which states, "Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you." And for him, that meant that no one is born as a mistake, and everyone realizes that he knew exactly what he was doing.
Before I knew you in your mother... What was it? It's...
Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you.
Jeremiah 1:5.
Which really just kind of nails it all home that he knew what he was doing.
He knew exactly what he was doing with us.
So any pleas by Jacoba at this point to, like, the Attorney General is falling on deaf ears. They're getting absolutely nothing from them regarding this. And they're saying that they can't give them information that they're not allowed to give, if that makes sense. So they decide to put all their hopes on Angela to help them out. And she contacts the Attorney General herself for an interview, but she's still getting diddly squat from them. So she reaches out to the prosecutor's office. And it's at this point we meet former prosecutor for the Marion County, Tim Delaney. He's saying that when they got the media inquiry, there hadn't been any true investigation done anywhere yet. But at the end of the day, there was just no crime that touches this particular act, and that's their problem. What? He doesn't believe this fits in the category of rape, and he refuses to put his name to it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe this. This guy was such a dickhead. He was not empathetic at all.
No, he wasn't. And, like, if you weren't angry before, you're going to be extremely angry now. And I had chills watching this guy. He just has no empathy. This is very black and white to him. He's a typical lawman. And he just explains it away like it's just emotional and they couldn't apply the law to it. And I want to use a lot of audio here, but I'm just going to try and keep it to a minimum.
And I said, what about battery? And he got rude with me. He said, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to tell you this. I can't charge him with battery. It wasn't battery. I was so pissed. I looked at Tim Delaney and I said, so if I spit in your face right now, it's not battery. And he said, it is, because you'd be spitting on me. And I'm like, what the fuck? So a doctor can go jack off and put their sperm in a woman who's their patient that did not consent to have their doctor do that. But yet you're going to tell me that if I spit in your face, I'd be arrested and charged with battery?
Jacoba and a lot of the individuals touched by this were very emotional and had a feeling that what I was there to do wasn't to apply the law to determine whether or not Dr. Klein had committed a crime, They thought I was there to deliver catharsis, and I wasn't.
They're having a real hard time trying to pin down what the crime is. When does the touch for Dr. Klein stop being sexual, then become clinical? You know, what could he be charged with within the Indiana sexual assault law? And when you talk about rape, there is a provision in the law that says rape can include a conduct which the victim does not know it's sexual, but the perpetrator knows it's sexual. The problem is there needs to be two components. You know, you've got to have non-consent and force, and they didn't have the force component of it. So Tim Delaney's concerned that the jury wasn't going to buy the rape by deception type theory. The victims here were never given the option by Dr. Klein to have his sperm placed in them, and if they were, they would not have consented to that. So obviously he's broken the law here, and there's probably some minor charge they can put on him, but they wanted him to be charged with something a lot more serious, and that's the tricky part. These women didn't give their consent at all, but there's just nothing they can pin on him.
The jury is going to say, this woman consented to insemination, this woman wanted a child, and the question is always out there, does this woman's desire for a child legitimate Donald Klein's deception? And unfortunately, that is a question that Tim Delaney had to weigh would enter into the minds of jurors.
If he asked me if it'd be okay for him to be the donor, I would have not said yes. I would say no.
It was a violation of him into me.
The issue for me is there was no consent. He didn't give me a choice.
So the actual accusations themselves weren't enough for the Attorney General to get off their ass and do something. But what did get them off their ass to do something was the fact that Dr. Klein had sent paperwork to them because they had asked him if he had used his own sperm in these cases, and he denied it. So the fact that he had lied to them got them up and about. That's what enraged them. But the way that they found out he was lying was because Angela was the one pressing them about it. She's the one saying, hey, you know he's lying to you. He had also stated in this letter to the Attorney General that Jacoba was guilty of slander. That is also something that the prosecution can use against Dr. Klein as denying obstruction of justice, but denying and threatening, that's more than enough for them to be able to get him for something.
Only after we determined that the Attorney General's office had sent those letters were we able to come up with a theory for how to proceed. We wanted to nail him with something, and the fact that we finally got something, it was like a hurrah moment. It was like eureka. The bathwater started spilling out, and I said, oh my God, we've got an angle.
Dr. Klein is charged on 2 counts, and they're both the same counts. They just happen on 2 different days, January 22nd and 23rd of 2015. And it's Donald J. Klein did make and or present and or use a false document. They're the 2 charges. So from this, the police obtain a warrant for Dr. Klein's DNA, and they go visit him in his house. He comes out with a gun attached to his hip, and he argues, like, well, what is this all about? Like he doesn't know.
He was sick. He had pneumonia, I believe. So he said, don't come too close. And we said, we have a search warrant for your DNA. He asked a little bit about what is this all about, but he knew what it was all about. Detective Sergeant Carmen Walker of the Marion County Sheriff's Office said, we need you to open your mouth. And he complied. He did not look like he was enjoying it.
When they asked him for the DNA sample, I kind of half expected him to offer semen instead of the mouth swab.
I got some in my pocket. It's fresh.
It's my preferred method. Fucking dirty old prick.
Yeah, oh God. So like, the DNA results are in, and it states that a probable paternity of 99.9997% that he is Jacoba's biological father. And look, I fully expected him to latch onto that 0.0003% chance it wasn't him.
Yeah.
But Dr. Klein, he's off to court now, but not for the rapes, because he's been a naughty boy and lied to the government. But he's smart there because he pleads guilty straight away. He doesn't want to have to go through a trial and for all that dirty laundry to air. At the end of the day, he's only been charged with 2 counts of obstructing justice and nothing to do with the unlawful insemination of sperm. But Jacoba is just happy to see him in court.
I felt good that day of the court hearing. Even though I knew that all he was being charged with was 2 counts of obstruction of justice, I thought, fucking finally, something.
Dr. Klein comes in, he puts on an old man act, and he really puts on a show in the courtroom just to show the judge he's a good man. And he was just trying to do what he thought was the right thing.
Your Honor, I'm asking for mercy and compassion for myself. I've tried to live up my life, showing honesty and care to others, and I will continue to do so.
Fortunately, well, you'd think fortunately, but not so much, the court allowed Jacoba to do an impact statement, which I was surprised about because it wasn't relevant to the case. But she was hoping that her words can touch the judge and potentially convince her to give Dr. Klein jail time for what he's done. But unfortunately, she was really hamstrung with what she could say and what she couldn't say on the stand.
These are my words to Klein. Every time I or my half-siblings look up our name, we all have the same issue tied to you. It has caused anguish in everyone, and some of us have wanted to die from this pain. For 30 years, my half-sister Julie believed her dad was her biological dad.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevant B.
We had agreed to the wording of the statement, literally redlined it, and had things crossed out or highlighted that you can't say.
Because of your denials, I feel you have no consideration for the mothers who came to you, us as your biological children, or your wife and the 4 children you had with her. It was always about you. You lied, you still lie. You even have your family believing you, and that sickens me. Our mothers trusted you.
She went for it. I don't know if I would have had the courage to do that in front of a judge, but
I'm asking you to look at the depth of the reasons he is charged with.
I thought her statement was great. I wouldn't be able to hold myself back either. I'd say, fuck you, I'm up here, I'm talking, you can hear it. Whether you write it down or not, you're going to hear it.
Yeah, but she's got to tread lightly too because she's given this opportunity and because it wasn't really relevant to the case, and you can hear the defense lawyers going, objection, so, to the point where she still can say what she needs to say, but she also doesn't want to get kicked out of the courtroom. So I understand where Tim Delaney was coming from by saying, hey, be careful. But what's fucked up about this is Jacoba and all the other half-siblings weren't deemed as victims here. The state was the victim due to the obstruction. How fucked up is that? But what's even more fucked up is the victims' voices weren't heard. I mean, Jacoba got to say a little bit, but the voices of the supporters of Dr. Klein were submitted to court and were heard by the judge, and that held great weight somehow. It's like, hey, this guy's a good man. He should get some leniency. He's religious. He's old. And even a prosecutor from another county had written on his behalf, which is so fucked up as well.
Yeah.
And Jacoba just throws her hands up in the air and thinks, you know what, the state is corrupt, and how can you fight against that? The judge has made her decision, and it is not popular.
Please remember that whatever happens today during the sentencing, the people that love you are going to continue to love you.
The judge seemed very sympathetic towards him, like on the verge of tears.
With the limited resources that we have, overcrowding at the jail, and your lack of a criminal history, an executed sentence is nothing that the court is going to order. But Dr. Klein, I do believe that the facts support going ahead and sentencing you as a level 6 felon. As to fines and costs, sir, the court will fine you $500.
And so he got the 2 level 6 felonies with complete suspended sentences and a $500 fine, which is a slap in the fucking face.
$500. Oh boy. I mean, that's 2 tanks of diesel for me. So he's basically off scot-free. And Jacoba can't believe it. And she dreads, like, every new match that comes across, then they're going to keep coming in. That she never knows when she's going to wake up and there's going to be more. This just keeps going on and on and on. This nightmare continues for her, but he's off scot-free.
Yeah, because God knows how many times he actually did this. Because he went from, I've only done it 3 times to, 10 is the real number. Then it went to, 15 is the real number now.
Yeah.
And now what number of sibling are we actually at? Is it like 94?
Well, we meet sibling number 53 here, and her name is Carrie Foster. And you're talking about how many that he might have done, but you're also going to think about the times where it failed. You're not going to get pregnant every single time. It may not have worked every time. So we are building up, and we're now at 53. So many of these siblings, like I was saying before, have his medical issues. And it could be just a coincidence, but a lot of the siblings believe that it stems from him and his family background, because some of the issues that they're having don't belong within their biological mother's background.
I have an autoimmune disease, yeah. It's a blood clotting disorder, which I didn't know until I had a miscarriage, and we were determining what would have caused that.
I mean, I've had colonoscopy, endoscopy. I've spent weeks in the hospital, losing 15 pounds at a time.
I have a lot of digestive and colon issues, and no one on my mom's side does.
So the sperm banks, they had strict guidelines, and they would have donors fill out questionnaires based on their medical history, because they don't want to be producing children with birth defects or medical issues, and only 30% of the donors that would come in would even get past the questionnaire.
Now looking back of it and being like, okay, he's got autoimmune disease, and his sperm wouldn't even been allowed to be a donor because of that. Like, dude, you knew this. You knew you had issues. Like, how dare you?
Yeah. Now, there's the Don Klein we knew, that I knew, that I knew well. And there's the Don Klein I would have never imagined. And it broke my heart. Evil. And if Don was right here, I'd say that right to his face.
Hey, we have a new sibling here, and we have sibling number 61, Alison Kramer. She took the DNA test because her and her kids were diagnosed with a genetic disorder. She wants to know about any sort of issues that her family might have had. She gets a message from Jacoba, just like normal, and by this stage for Jacoba, it must be such a generic message that she just sends out to everyone. And I wonder how many of these people would disregard her message as well. Going, oh, God, I don't want to even know. And that's what happened here. Alison disregards her message, not really wanting to know. But one day she's watching TV and Dr. Phil show comes on.
How would you feel if you found out your mother's fertility doctor was actually your biological father?
When the siblings walked out, Jacoba was introduced.
You felt no remorse from him other than just the fear of being caught.
He was not remorseful at all.
No.
He just did not want it to be public. He told me the world does not need to know.
Wow.
So Alison's parents stated that they were clients of Dr. Klein for a long period of time. And these are the parents we met earlier, the Weekend at Bernie's guy. And Dr. Klein would actually come over to their home with his wife to meet baby Alison and her twin sister. And Alison on the documentary is showing baby photos, and there's one of her being held by Dr. Klein. And it's a really fucked up moment knowing that he knew at that stage that that was his daughter.
Yeah, it's creepy to look at this photo knowing what you know.
Yeah.
He delivered the girls, and he came over with his wife to see our babies at home.
So this is a picture of my twin sister and I right after delivery in the incubator. And this is the picture of Klein holding me as an infant at the house. I was probably 8 months old there.
Alison's mother, she has mixed emotions about it. She's sick to her stomach about how it went down and the fact that, you know, her husband's sperm wasn't used. But she's also grateful at the same time because he was so skilled, Dr. Klein, and he was able to give her these twin girls. So she felt thankful and disgusted at the same time. And the father, like you were saying before, and I was saying that he's just sitting there and you can see he wants to interject, But he doesn't really say anything. He just looks like a stunned mullet, you know. And it's so upsetting for Alison to know that her father, just like we mentioned before, she believed that this was her biological father, and she just felt crushed by that. But the realization for Alison is even worse for her.
But the other part of my story is that Don Klein was also my fertility doctor. He was my main GYN. He took care of all my gynecological needs for the 2 years that I saw him. He did my Pap exams. He did breast exams. I mean, I don't think any grown woman wants someone closely related to them, a member of the opposite sex, to touch them in that way. It's a very vulnerable position that the patient is in. And to be touching and examining private areas of your body, I can't even think about it without getting upset.
With this part, I was expecting her to say, oh, yeah, he did IVF on me as well.
That's what I thought.
I was like, oh, my God, don't tell me her daughter is her sister.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought of that. I know. Yeah. Oh, man. And they saved this for the end because I just think it's the most disgusting. Him being her doctor, and just it's not intimate. It is just a doctor-patient relationship. That's her father touching her in a way that a father should not be touching. And it is so sickening. And here we're nearing the end of the documentary here, and we hear some final words from Dr. Klein, along with a few other siblings. They feel by continuing to talk about this, getting his face in the papers is just their way of getting back at him, in a sense, because they got no justice in the court process. The state certainly didn't help them. And Jacoba doesn't want to wallow in this. It makes her stronger. She's tenacious as fuck.
Instead of destroying me, you made me realize my self-worth. That's absolutely what you did, and you made me realize what my purpose is too. And I'm a fighter, and I will fight for every sibling that I have that I know, that I don't know, and for every woman that you assaulted. And I will do this until the fucking day I die.
We finish up the documentary with some text that says in 2018, the mothers and siblings successfully passed legislation in Indiana making illicit donor inseminations illegal, but there is currently no federal law. I mean, how has it taken up until 2018 to have something like this become a crime? And I thought while watching the documentary, and it makes you wonder, has this happened before? Like, surely it has happened. And you're thinking with these DNA testing websites becoming more and more popular, they might find more of these cases. And then right at the end, we find out some more information.
Yeah, that's right. They say, thanks to home DNA testing, 44 additional doctors have been found to use their own sperm to inseminate fertility patients. It's so disgusting. You'd think that this guy would be a one-off anomaly, just one freak out there, but 44 additional.
Yeah, in my sheltered life, I really hoped that was the case, but in the back of my mind, I knew. You just knew. You know, there's so many unsavory characters out there, and because they're in a position of power, they're going to abuse that, and so many have, you know, since and before Dr. Klein, I can only assume. But like apparently he was the most prolific of all these doctors as of the documentary was aired, and currently there are 94 Klein siblings and counting, just a tad more than the 15 he thought he might have produced.
Yeah, and as you said, they're only finding them through 23andMe and Ancestry.com, all those types of things. Imagine all the people that haven't done those DNA tests, and they'll never know that they're part of that family.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, Jacoba wakes up every day. I'm sure she just checks her inbox to see if there's any more. And look, since the doco was aired in 2022, there's been no further updates if there's any more siblings. Some of the children have actually sued Netflix over the identity and privacy issues in the documentary.
Right.
Which is crazy. And then Donald Klein, he's now in his 80s. He's living privately, and he has never fully acknowledged the children as his publicly in a meaningful way. He's just a scumbag through and through until the day he dies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, currently 87 and still going.
Yeah, 87.
I googled to see if his wife left him because, I mean, that was his main concern during them. But she remained with him up until her death last year in 2025. Yeah, and both his wife and his kids have never come out and publicly made a statement or let their stance be known.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, because she's not only got all his half siblings, his actual biological children with his wife are also half siblings as well.
That's right.
Oh my God. Anyway, well, that's the end of the documentary, mate. Fascinating story and really sickening, and no murder, but I was just, shocked and saddened by it.
Yeah,
disgusted.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, these poor women that had to go through that, or knowing what they had to go through, and then everyone involved in it. It just feels so bad for them. The fathers, the children, the wives. Like, it's just, it's disgusting all around.
Yeah, put the non-consent aside and everything like that. That was at a time in their life where they were really vulnerable, a really emotional time of their history, where everyone wants to, or most people want to birth children, and this was their only hope. And he provided that only hope for them, but then made it something disgusting. A special part of their life is now tainted.
Yeah. One of the most special parts of moments of their life.
Anyway, mate, so we are moving on to next week. What are you going to give us next week?
So next week we are going to cover the Tinder swindler.
Cool.
Let's check it out now. Or you can just go straight to it after you said.
Yeah.
You can find a bit of everything on Tinder, but one little swipe can change your life.
I only miss you when it rains.
When I first talked with Simon, immediately we had a bond.
And when I listen to the radio,
he was smart and funny and very impulsive.
I shared my whole heart with him. And then he asked me if I wanted to travel with him on a private jet. I was like, shit. He took me to a 5-star hotel. He said
we had a special connection.
It felt like stepping into a movie. And then in the middle of the night, he said there was something he wants to tell me. He said he has threats against him.
He needs our cash.
$20,000, $30,000, $140,000. His life depended on me. That's when police tell me the man I love was never real. Everything's a lie. Who is this guy I've been sharing the same bed with? Then I get these threatening messages.
Take my advice. Just watch out.
We have no idea what he's capable of. It's just been fucking hell.
I'm just freaking out.
But we needed to get payback.
We don't know how far this conspiracy actually goes.
It's just the tip of the iceberg.
We had one chance.
Swindle the Tinder swindler.
You double-crossed me? You're gonna pay for it.
Really looking forward to the Tinder swindler. It was a really popular documentary. So if you are enjoying the podcast, like we always say, please rate and review us on Spotify. Recommend us to your friends. We're getting a lot of good comments, and we'll get into some more shout outs next week. But until then, Chris, try not to murder anyone.
You too, mate. All right. Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.